Can make it very closer to me in this. Okay. Hare Krishna. So once again, welcome back to our 18 days Gita session. So I thank all of you that you all came ahead and chanted the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So it's amazing to see all of you that you are still, consistently coming, for the 18 days Gita class. Like you are excited, even I'm also excited on this journey. So we'll start with a prayer before we begin the class. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjanaksalakaya Chakshur Anmilatam Ena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasya Deshatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Kam karoti vachalam pangam langayatem giri ekpaham vande Shri Guru Guntarini. Hare Krishna. So, welcome back to our 18 days Gita class. I keep on telling that this Bhagavad Gita is just not a book. It is a journey through a timeless wisdom. We can see how, it's a bridge between the confusion and clarity. We can see Arjuna stood in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. He had this conflict, the confusion, and we could see, how today, the next 14 days, we all are attentively attending this class. We can go chapter by chapter, more importantly, by step by step, because we're all looking to get the inner peace, purpose, the relation to the Supreme Lord. So this is just not an online class. This is a soul call. So let's begin the class today. Hare Krishna. So yesterday we have discussed summary of chapter 4. Okay, and today we'll be discussing chapter 5. That is Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. So before we embark in chapter 5, we will just do a small recap what we had discussed in yesterday's class. All right. So yesterday we discussed about 4 important aspects. So in the first verses of 4th chapter, we discussed how Krishna was explaining that he gave this knowledge long ago, even before he told to Arjuna 5,000 years ago. So the knowledge that never becomes outdated, that is Bhagavad Gita. And we also spoke about Lord taking different avatars. So according to Bhagavad Gita, Lord comes to protect the good and destroy the evil. We also spoke about the 3 actions: karma, akarma, and vikarma. So we also understood what is karma. A person is doing a lot of good activities, good actions. Like charity at home, charity outside. Doing annadanam. Giving food, but still it will result to take the rebirth. Because by doing all these things, he'll get a lot of punya, and because of punya, he'll go to Swarga, heavenly planet. Same in the case of Vikarma also. He's not doing good things, he's doing bad things. He gets papa, But once the punishment is finished, again he'll come back to this material world. But when we speak about akarma, it is the bridge between karma and vikarma. Because all the actions that he does without any selfish motive. He does it keeping God in the center. That is the reason why he's free from this a cycle of birth and death, and he doesn't come back again to this material world. And we also spoke about the importance of having a teacher in our life, a guru, how he should be. He should come in that discipline, parampara, what do you say, bona fide parampara, discipline succession, right? So we were discussing how you should be a self-realized, have a deep understanding on scriptures, and whatever you speak, that should be as per the Shastras, not whatever comes to the mind whimsically. All right. And then, we spoke about the parampara. We discussed the 4 paramparas, which is bona fide, authentic parampara. And what are they? Brahma Sampradaya, Sri Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, and Kumara Sampradaya. So we discussed about these 4 Sampradayas. And we also spoke about how Krishna told Yudhishthira, take advice from Bhishma Dev. So we could see that Bhishma Dev emphasized that we should chant the Lord's holy name. And that's why Lord Shiva, he chanted this verse. Sri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tatulyam Rama Nama Varanane. What does it mean? When Bhagavad asked this question to Shiva, that in today's time, people have no time, so busy in WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, Reels, where they have time to chant thousands of names of Lord Vishnu. So Lord Shiva is saying, by chanting one name of Rama, it is equal to chanting 1,000 names of Vishnu. And then further, he says, 3 names of Rama is equal to chanting one name of Krishna. So let's chant once. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So akarma is that kind of action which helps us to chant the Lord's holy name. And also, when we take prasadam, we take only those food which is offered to Krishna, and also try to serve the Lord. So the takeaway message, what we gave yesterday in the 4th chapter, that's transcendental knowledge, that do devotional actions, akarma, and go back in this very life to back home, back to God, and now coming to the material world. That was yesterday's chapter, that is 4th chapter. And today, as I said, we are discussing chapter 5, So we'll be discussing chapter 5. And in the chapter 4, we learned that all the actions should be done in akarma, action without attachment. But in chapter 5, it's about, karma yoga, doing actions in Krishna consciousness, right? So we have divided this chapter into 4 main categories. One is like a lotus leaf, like staying untouched by the world while doing the work, right? And then the 3 doers, we'll speak about Jivatma, Paramatma, and the Prakriti, that is soul, Paramatma, the Lord, and the material nature. We'll speak about that. And then equal vision, like you see the Pandita Samadarshana, they see everybody in a equal platform, And then, of course, the path to peace. So how Krishna is giving the peace formula in the Bhagavad Gita, So that we'll discuss. So we have 4 important aspects, so stay connected. And before we embarking on this chapter, we have this title called Give Up or Take Up. Give up or take up. So in the first verse of chapter 5, Arjuna said, "Oh Krishna, first of all, you ask me to renounce work, and then again you recommend work with devotion. Now, will you kindly tell me definitely which of the 2 is more beneficial?" And next verse is telling, the personality of Godhead replied, "The renunciation of work and work in devotion are both good for liberation. Both of the 2, work in devotion service is better than a renunciation of work." So we could see here very clearly that, Krishna is answering, doing your duties with devotion is better than just renouncing the world. So explains that devotional service helps us to give up the bad habits and the selfish desire, which just giving up things without devotion is very difficult. So we heard about the example, the gulab jamun example. Just imagine you love gulab jamun, and I told this in the morning. Okay, you love gulab jamun, but let's say due to some health reason, you're not supposed to take gulab jamun. So let's say it's like maybe sugar, whatever. So it is hard to say no. But just imagine the mind is carving, I want gulab jamun. You love it, but it's not supposed to take because of health concern. Now, let's say if someone takes you to a place where you get an opportunity to make some nice garland, cook for the Lord, and you give a small talk, and talk about what is prasadam, you feel the greater happiness, right? So when you do this joy can replace the carving of the mind. It is, I want gulab jamun. So you forget that sweeter because devotion give you more sweeter taste. For example, let's say If I say, tomorrow you please fast whole day. You say, tomorrow whole day, just an Ekadashi event. How can I fast, But let's say tomorrow is the Janmashtami, the whole world is still doing a celebration, and you have to fast. So, and you are you have a very big responsibility in a temple or management wherever. So, what do? You also fast, but you don't fast with kind of a burden. You feel it like, wow, it's a Janmashtami, let's. So, what happens? You're giving up the lower taste and getting up the higher taste. So, that's why Krishna says, don't just give up things, connect everything to me. Then letting go becomes joyful, not painful. That's why we can see that Krishna says it's better, in Bhagavad Gita, what does it says? I'll just hold this question for you. Just one moment. Yeah. The question is right there on the screen. What does Krishna say is better to do in Bhagavad Gita? Renounce all work, or just doing work with the devotion, or doing whatever feels good, or quitting work? Okay, doing work with the devotion. Yes, that's a right answer. So I'm gonna make a little fast because it's a vast chapter. We'll make it a little fast. Okay, you got the answer right. Okay, fantastic. So let's look at this screen. Okay, like a water on the lotus leaf. Krishna is explaining that we should perform our duties without attachment to the results. Just like we could see the lotus leaf in the water, but not touched by a person like working for Krishna without any selfish desire. Is not affected by any sinful reactions. Like you see all our abilities, opportunities, and even the result that comes from God. We should not think, I did this because of me, everything's happening. I am the doer. When you are expecting that kind of result, then you will suffer. But if you understand everything belongs to the Lord, and I just let us offer a result to Him, then what happens? We become free from anxiety and suffering. And that's why this sloka is very nicely explained. It says, Dhammani adhaya karmani sangam tvekta karoti yaha lipyate naha papena padna patram vashmasha. It says, one who performs his duty without attachment, surrendering the results unto the Supreme Lord, is unaffected by sinful action as a lotus leaf is untouched by the water. I'm just checking my voice audible. Good. All right. So I'll give you an example. Then example, I think you'll be able to understand what I mean to say. Let's say there's a person by name Arun. Okay. He's a very rich guy. He just built a very magnificent house, it's like a dream home, very grand, very stylish, perfect way in everything, and he spent crores of rupees to make this house, and people all over the world, they're coming and looking, wow, such amazing house. They say, we want to buy this house, can you give it? He said, no, I cannot give. Proudly, he refuses. This is my house because I have built, it's mine. I built this house. I will never sell it. This is what Arun was saying. Some time back, Arun went to a place for a kind of a trip, to traveling. And when he came back in a week, then on one of the day, he was shocked. Why? Because when he returned back, his heart was pumping. His heart was stopped. Why? Because the beloved house that he had constructed, it is now on fire. Flame like rose high, and everything is cherries turned into ashes. Before his own eyes, you could see that the house is burning, and he's collapsed in sorrow. He's crying, my house, my house, my house, Just then, he had two sons. Okay, one son comes and, Papa, don't have to worry, Yesterday only I sold this house to someone else. Now, Arun suddenly stood up. He was wiping his tears like this. Really? Then it's not mine anymore, right? Instantly what happened? The pain, suffering disappeared. He was like, oh, okay. Just few minutes back, another son came, said, actually, I sold this house, but the buyer didn't buy yet. Boom. That means, the pain again returns back because the house is still again with me. So again, the suffering came back. So what I mean to say is that this is what happens to all of us. As long as we think this is mine, we suffer actually. So if we learn to see everything that belongs to the Lord, then we remain peaceful, detached, unattached like a lotus leaf on water. So the message what I'm trying to convey here is that whatever we do, whether it's our job, a service, family duty, we must do it sincerely without having attachment to the result. Why? Because the opportunity to act given by the Lord, the energy to do the work, everything is given by Lord, the play, situation, everything is He's created, but the result also belongs to Him only. Right? So if we cling on the idea, I did this, I deserve this, that means we are inviting ego. What is ego? EGO, eject God out. We are inviting ego and we are suffering. And that's why Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, offer the result of your work to me. So if you look at, if you see in Ramayana also, if you look at Jatayu from Ramayana, he tried to save Mother Sita from Ravana, but he failed. But still, Lord Rama didn't reject Jatayu because he honored him for trying sincerely to protect Mother Sita. So even though Dasharatha, Dasharatha Maharaj was Rama's own father, he didn't receive Rama for his funeral. But in case of Jatayu, Rama was personally there because he did his best to protect Mother Sita without worrying about a success or failure. So the message what we are trying to convey in these two stories that we should do our duty sincerely, but offer the result to the Lord. And but don't get attached to the success or failure. So the detachment only can free you from pain and karma, like the lotus leaf were untouched by water. So now I have a question. What frees us from karma, like the lotus leaf untouched by water? So I have this small polling for all of you. You can just understand and explain, not explain, just tell me what did you understand from your perspective. I think the question is on the screen. What frees us from pain and karma like a lotus leaf untouched by water? Okay, it's offering the result to the work to the Lord. Yes, exactly correct. That is the right answer. Yes. So I'll end the poll. I'll share the result. Okay, yeah, that's the right answer. Stop sharing now. Okay, great. So we are almost there then. Now, look at this verse. It says the three doers. I'll explain this one by one. It says, Sarva karmani manasa sanyasati achyutam vasi navadvare pura dehi naiva kurvam na karayan. When the embodied living being controls his nature and mentally renounces all actions, he resides happily in the city of 9 gates, neither working nor causing work to be done. So in this sloka, what we understand here, that when a person controls his habits and giving up thinking I am doing everything, then he can live peacefully and happily. The soul stays very calm and peace when we control our senses, right? But if we don't have a control over mind and senses, we feel disturbed and unhappy. That's why if we can control our mind and senses, we can be calm and undisturbed inside the body. So what helps a person live peacefully and happily? It's a generic question. So I'll ask the same question to you. What do you think that should be the answer for this? What helps a person live peacefully and happily? Doing whatever the senses want or controlling the senses? Yes, controlling the senses and ego. Not doing whatever the senses want. Remember yesterday I spoke about the chariot, the 5 horses. If you think whatever senses want to do, then we are in a trouble, right? So the answer is controlling the senses and ego. Okay, I will also explain how it works. Okay, that is what people are answering. Doing whatever the senses want. I'll also explain that. Okay, fine. So look at the screen. Yesterday also I explained this very clearly. So I'm making another attempt. Okay, because this is a game changer in our life. Indriyani parani ahur indriyabhyo param manaha manasastu para buddhir ye buddhu paratascha. The working senses are superior to or dull matter. Mind is higher than the senses. Intelligence is still higher than the mind. And the soul is ever higher than the intelligence. So what does it mean? It means senses, it's a dead matter. But the mind is superior to the senses. and the intelligence is superior to the mind, and the Atma is superior to the intelligence, mind, and senses. So the soul should take control over everything, not other way around. Like when you use phone, we're supposed to use the phone, not that phone should use us, right? That's why we say addiction. What? Addiction. An addiction to distraction is end of a creative production. So we should know that we should not become a slave of what we're using it. Right. So I'll give an example. Now I'm gonna keep this. Now I want all of you to reply in the chat box. Okay. I'm just opening up my chat box, keeping it ready here. Okay. I want all of you to reply in the chat box. Okay. Now the question is, what is important for you? Is that the BMW car or is your eyes? If I ask you, what is very important in life? Is it your BMW car or is your eyes? Okay. Yes, it's eyes. Okay. Now let's say if I give 2 acres of land for you. So what is important? The 2 acres of land. Acres of land is very important, or your lungs or your kidneys are very important. Your kidneys are very important. Okay. I give you 10 kgs of gold, and once in we have lungs. So which is more important? Is your 10 kg gold important or is the lungs are important? What do you all say? I'm just looking at the chat. Yeah, obviously, lungs only are very important. So you see, the senses are more valuable than the. Okay, I'm going to close this. The senses are more valuable than the what do you say, material things, right? So I'll give an example. We are watching TV, okay? So when you watch TV for a long time, what happens? Our eyes, get damaged because you're eating all the time. You have some kind of eye problem, right? Even the phone, all the same thing. So we all know that mind is above intelligence, and intelligence will always discriminate what is right, what is wrong. Just like, let's say, there is a road path, we have to just cross the road. A lot of vehicles are going. If I say just cross the road, will you cross? You will not cross. Why? Because vehicles are going. You will say, let the vehicles go. Now, who's saying this? Not the mind. The intelligence is saying it, right? That means, above mind it is intelligence. But but even intelligence is below. Why? Because soul. Above intelligence is the soul, which is the highest. So we should use our soul and spiritual knowledge to control everything. That is the ultimate, what I want to explain here. So the key point is that two things. One is spiritual knowledge, one is material knowledge. In spiritual knowledge, even if we have nothing, we can still be happy because our mind and senses is controlled. Right? That's a spiritual knowledge. You have nothing. Still your mind, senses are controlled, and you'll be very happy. But when it's in a material knowledge, if I don't have this thing, I'm not happy. It leads to suffering. It's like a fish out of the water. So in this chart, I'm explaining you that the chariot is like a body. This is like a body, and the horses are like a 5 senses. What are the 5 senses? Your eyes, your nose, your tongue, your ears, your skin, 5 senses. And what is the reins? Mind. You see the rope? That rope is compared to a mind. Okay? And the guy who's sitting in the black dress is a driver. He is your intelligence. And somebody who is sitting next to that black driver, black person, that's your soul, Atma, passenger. All right? So if we can understand this analogy, many of our questions will be answered. Right? So if the mind is not controlled, the horses, that sense, go haywire, they go wild, and the chariot will crash. But if the mind is steady, the soul reaches the goal safely without any problem. Actually, our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada, he says one of the easy way to control mind is just neglect the mind. But it's not so easy. We have to practice. That's why I was explaining you about the Niskama Karma Yoga. The akarma part, that we should do favorable activities to bhakti, but not sakama karma yoga where you're doing activities but you have selfish motive. So I'm giving you a solution how to control mind. There are 3 ways to control mind. What is that? Engage your senses in devotional service. You keep yourself busy in a devotional service. Second, follow Guru's instruction, a teacher's instruction who is very genuine. And third is do good to others. So these three things are very important aspect where you can actually control your mind. Otherwise, let's say you and me are traveling, you and me are on the 10th floor, and if I jump from the floor, will you jump? No, because your mind is, if I jump, I'll break my legs. Who's saying? Intelligence is saying. So above senses is intelligent, mind, intelligence, and above intelligence is a soul. So I have a quick question for you. In the chariot analogy, who is the passenger here? Okay, I'll just pose this question because we're going to do a recap what I'm explaining here. Okay. Okay. In the chariot, we see chariot, right? Analogy. Who is the passenger? Yes, the Atma is the passenger, not the intelligence. Okay, you're perfectly right. I'll stop sharing. Okay, I have another question. Let's try if we can answer this. What helps us to know right from wrong? What helps us to know right from wrong? Intelligence guided by scriptures, yes, not mind. See, mind can be like a monkey also, mind says, I want this, I want this, so if you go with the, have you ever seen a monkey sitting on a tree for a longer time? It keeps on hopping. So mind is called chanchala, that's why, of course, I will discuss this in the next couple of slides, like what Arjuna is saying to Krishna. If chanchalami mana Krishna, we'll talk about that. Okay. Okay. I'll end this poll. I'll share the result. I'll stop the stop. Okay. Yeah, that was a very profound answer you all gave. Now, this is another slide. Is also a game changer in life. So please pay attention. So that you know what I'm trying to explain. Here we are talking about three things: soul, that's Jivatma; Paramatma, that's the Supreme Lord; and the Prakriti, that's the material nature. Now you see a condition desires, that I want to fly and Paramatma sanctions, because of that you get opportunity to become a bear, where you get a body of a bear where you can sleep for a long time. Or let's say you want to fly, you can go in the aeroplane and you can fly in the aeroplane. So Paramatma sanction, but Prakriti is giving you that facility. All right. So that's what I'm going to say. Someone desire to become bear, material nature will give you the body of a bear for which you're craving it. So whatever desire we have, material nature will provide that body that fits those desire. So this is why I'm telling you, you have to control our senses, and it is so important that we need to act with the intelligence based on the scriptures. Now I'll give an example. Maybe this will help you. We all have this question, God, right? Nothing happens without the sanction of the God. But why so many sins take place? They say without God's permission, even a grass cannot move. We have heard this, right? But why so many sins are taking place? Right? This is a very frequent question. So I'm going to give you an example now. Okay. Let's say there is a car and there are three people in the car. One is the driver, one is the owner of the car, and the owner's son. Okay. Son, driver, father is sitting in the car. Okay. So if you can understand this analogy, it makes you easier to understand what I'm trying to say. Okay. Now, the driver, who is he? He's compared to a Prakriti, material nature. And the father, who is the owner of the car, is referred to Krishna, Paramatma. And the son, who's sitting in the car, is referred to a Jivatma. Now, let's say when the driver is driving the car, this son says, driver, just stop the car. Stop. I want to buy ice cream. Now, will the driver will stop the car? He will never, because he will listen not to his son, will listen to the owner, the father of the owner of the car. All right. So no matter how much a Jivatma says, I want this, the driver, means the material nature, Prakriti, will not give you that facility to enjoy. Correct. Now let's say father says, okay, stop the car, he wants ice cream, let's stop the car. That means now Krishna, Paramatma is giving sanction to the Prakriti, and that is why the Prakriti is giving the facility, and the Jivatma, the son, is able to have that ice cream. Are you able to understand? I'll give another example. There's a nice garden, and there's some flowers. So the Jivatma, the soul, want to pluck some flowers, but he's not able to do it. Why? Because there are some guards standing there. And the facility is there, but still he cannot pluck any flowers. But if the owner says, okay, allow them to pluck the flowers, immediately, Paramatma is sanctioning, Prakriti is allowing them. That is, the gods are allowing them, and the Jivatma, the sun, is going and just plucking the flower. Understood? It's very important to understand this concept. Now, there would be another question. Then why, when bad things are happening, why God is still not stopping? All right? This is also a good question, right? जब गलत लोग गलत चीज कर रहे हैं, भगवान क्यों रोक रहे नहीं है? When bad things are happening by bad people, why Lord is not stopping? As I told you a couple of days back, that Bhagwan, Lord, does not interfere in anybody's free will. Actually, God wants everyone to stop misusing the free will and come back to me, to the spiritual world. That's why Lord is saying in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharma Parityaja Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Moksham Yam Astuchaha. The Lord is saying that, that is why Lord doesn't interfere with the free will. So today, in the last couple of days, I see many of them are attending, some of them have dropped. Why? Because Lord is not interfering in their free will. If they really wanted to understand Bhagavad Gita, they will attend the class, and also they will also tell their friends that, we are going through a kind of a crash course, online course in Bhagavad Gita, where every day 1 hour is spent on understanding one chapter. It takes a lot of time to prepare, and it's easy for us to, like a capsule, we're able to understand. So we should take an opportunity to grab this opportunity. They say in Hindi, "Jaise mila mauka, lagao choka." Like that, we have to be very eager. So that means you are using the free will in a right way. That's what I want to say. Now I have a question. Who sanctions our desire to allow material nature to act? Okay, I'll just pose this question for you. You can answer me. Okay, yes, here's the question. Yeah. Who sanctions our desires? We have many desires, right? Who sanctions our desire and allows material nature to act? Yeah, it is Paramatma only, Paramatma only. Yes. Okay, I'll end the poll here. I'm sure many people also have this realization that when you do something wrong, our heart, you can hear some kind of voice. Says, no, it's not correct. It's not correct. Right? That's what I'm trying to explain. Correct. Now, look at this slide. It says a wise person sees everyone equally. That's called Pandita Samadarshana. We'll read this verse. It says, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Astini Sunichaiva Sapaka Pandita Samadarshana. Yeah, the humble sage, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision a learned and gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater. So, what is explained in this verse is that a wise man, he sees everything equally, even he sees a Brahmana, an elephant, a cow, he sees everybody equal because he sees that Atma in everybody's body, That's what I mean to say. That's why, okay, I'll give you an example, okay. Maybe this example can make you understand what I mean to say that, a Pandita is looking everybody at the equal platform. Okay, so let's say there are some birds living in a temple, and it's like Gopuram. Now the festival is coming, they won't do the painting. Then what happens? All these birds, they just fly away from there and they go to the next building. Let's say it is a mosque. Okay. And there also, when they have kind of a Ramzan, whatever, or any festival, they want to paint that mosque. So the birds again, they fly away from there. And again, it goes to on a church, and there they stay for a long time. When the Christmas comes, they want to paint the church. So those birds fly from there, again come back to the temple. Now, people, here down, they're fighting for religion, my religion, my religion. But look at the birds, they're just flying from different mosque to church to, temple. So what I mean to say here that no, the mother of that bird, is telling that is the one reason why, we are above and you are still below. So why we still below? Because, we are fighting below for those religion. This my religion is best. My religion is best. So the key point, what I'm trying to understand, make you understand is that a person with a higher understanding doesn't get into this religious or ego fights. He sees everyone that we're all children of God, even if they follow different religion or custom. Now I'll give you one example. I think this example can really shake you up. So this is a story of a boatman. All right, there was one scientist, puffed up scientist, and and he want to just cross over the river. So one day, this proud scientist got into a boat to cross the river, and he looked at the simple boatman. There was a boatman who's very simple, poor fellow, and asked, "Who's asking now?" Scientist asking question to boatman. "Do you know Vedas?" The boatman said, I don't know." Then scientist started laughing. "You don't know? Oh my God! Your half life is gone waste." Then you just kept quiet. Little later, again this scientist prompted, asked, "Okay, you don't know about Vedas. Do you know about science?" The boatman said, I don't know." He said, "You don't know? Oh my God, your 75% life is gone waste. And suddenly there was a storm, rain heavily. The boat was like almost shaking and it's going to sink now. The boatman, then now the boatman is asking, till now, scientists are asking, now the boatman is asking scientists, "Do you know how to swim, scientist?" Scientist said, "No, I don't know." And the boatman said, "What? You don't know? Oh my God, your 100% life is gone waste. Then the boatman, swam to the water, he swam in the water safely and he rescued his life. Whereas the scientist who doesn't know swimming, he died. So what I mean to say in the story that a true wisdom is not about boasting knowledge, but being very humble and practical. So we may be knowing Vedas, or PhD, hold a PhD, or having worldly success, but without humility, you are just floating on the surface of a life, waiting to sink when a storm comes. So the real Pandit, a real scholar, means what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, that he sees, that's what I'm telling you, that Lord sees everyone because Lord is in everybody's heart, right? So scholar sees everybody in an equal platform. It can be a cow, it can be an elephant, it can be even a scholar, it can be a dog, whatever. Because such person respects, everyone and stays humble, knowing that, whatever we have, is given by the Lord. Having that appreciation to the Lord, that really makes a great difference. So we should not be proud, of our knowledge or position that I am greatest, I know everything, So I will, if that person can lead to a spiritual path, there'll be a downfall. So the moment we forget God is the source of everything, all our intelligence, skills, and status will fall. So the true wisdom means humility and respect for all. And that is what I'm trying to convey here. So, how does a true wise person, a Pandit, sees everyone? That's a question I want to ask you. You can answer me what is your understanding in today's subject matter we discussed just now. I have the question here. How does a truly wise person sees others? He sees only scholar as a great. Okay, he sees all living beings as equally correct. Yes, that was the right answer I was looking for. Thank you so much. Okay, I'll share the results. Stop sharing. I'm making it a little faster because we have many slides and same time we will have a lot of today question answers. Because it's a very important topic we're discussing. Okay, we all are looking for happiness, right? So this slide talks about the way to get peace. So to understand real peace, we should understand the three truths about the Lord. That is called the peace formula. So I'll recite this sloka. It's a beautiful sloka. It says, Bhoktaramekna tapasam sarva loka maheshwaram suhurtam sarva bhutanam gyatva mam shanti rachate A person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and the well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. So, very important sloka. Here Krishna is explaining that happiness, happiness or peace is what we are all seeking. If you ask a child, what do you want? He says, for me, the source of happiness is to have some toys so that I can play with the toys. But the same child, when he grows up, if you ask him, what is the source of happiness? He will tell, I want no bicycle, no more toys, bicycle. And the same child, after some time, he says, not bicycle, I want a bike. And after some time, he says, I don't want a bike. I want to have a car. And I want to get married, and I want to have a nice house. So if you see, in reality, we are all looking for happiness. But the problem is, we don't know how to find and where to find happiness. Because happiness is not to be found in this material world. Why? Because Krishna has put the stamp. What is that? Dukhalim ashashvatam. Just like if you ask if I ask you to jump in the water and come out dry, don't get wet. Is it possible? The moment you get in the water, we get drenched, right? So it's not possible. So the question still troubles us. Then how do we become happy? So Lord Krishna beautifully is explaining a solution where we all can become happy. He says, Bhoktaram ekna tapasam sarva loka maheshwaram suhutam sarva bhutanam gnatva mam shanti rachate. Is saying that Bhoktaram ekna tapasam. That means first thing is that you should know that Krishna is the enjoyer and he is the proprietor, the owner, right? And the last thing is Krishna is our true well-wisher, a friend. If somebody knows this, then it's very easy for him, to be happy. So I will try to paraphrase what I said through a question. You can tell me what is your understanding. Okay. So my question is, according to Krishna, what is the formula for true peace? I am the enjoyer and controller. Lord is the enjoyer, owner, and the friend. Yeah, that is the right answer. I'll share the result and I'll stop sharing. Now I will discuss and explain what I mean to say. It says Bhoktaram Ignatapasam. So he says real enjoyer, not us. Whatever yajnas, offerings, spiritual work we do, we should do it as an offering to Krishna. Even when we make some food, bhoga, we have to first offer to Krishna and then distribute. That becomes akarma, niskama karma yoga, right? So we should not think that I am the doer, I will enjoy the results. And when we give to him, our trust will reduce. That's why we have to give him. Now I'll ask you, we all know that Krishna had how many wives? He had 16,108 wives. So it's difficult to digest, I would say. If somebody says, I want more than two wives, Are bhai, you cannot manage one wife. How can you manage two wives? If Krishna is managing 16,000 wives, that shows that he is the real God, he is the real enjoyer. Because you cannot imitate Krishna. Krishna managed 16,000, let me manage 2, 3. It's difficult. See, Krishna lifted Govardhan for 7 days, 7 nights. Now, if I ask you to just lift this water bottle for half an hour, you'll say it's paining. Maybe I'll change my hand. Then again you'll keep on your head. So you keep on moving around. That means we have no control over that. So we cannot even hold a mobile phone for a long time in 1 hour. So because our hand starts paining. So this means that we are limited. See, if you go to Jagannath Puri, where we have Lord Jagannath, there they give Chappan Bhog. That means in a day, 4 times they offer Bhoga for the Lord. It has 56 items, and his hand is never wet. He keeps eating. That's why it's called Jagannath. One of the name of Jagannath is Anna Brahma. All right. So if we want to imitate like Jagannath, what will happen? Is it possible? Can we eat so many food, so many? We cannot because our stomach is limited. By we are limited. So we may even die also. That's not possible. So we cannot imitate Krishna. That's why Krishna is a real enjoyer. And then Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. He is a controller of everything. Actually, you could see that Krishna, he controls all devatas, the demigods, all the devatas, universe, and everything. You may ask you, how is it possible to look into everything? So for this question, I would humbly request you that you have to wait till chapter 11. Because in chapter 11, we'll be discussing about the Vishwarupa, the universal form, which proves that Krishna is the controller of everything. And then we have the next sloka, Surtam Sarva Bhutanam, best friend of all life forms. So he is our eternal well-wisher because the relationship what we have with our father, mother, wife, children, it's temporary. So for example, let's say somebody's birthday. A parents, what they can do, they will bless you. They will bless you mentally, physically, emotionally, intellectually. How long they can bless you? Tell me. They can bless you to the extent they're alive. But they cannot stay more than 100 years because everybody has to die. If they take birth, so that means even their blessings becomes temporary, right? So in every birth, we have different parents, even trees also. But Krishna is always with us in every life, He never leaves us. So he is our only true friend. Suhratam Sarva Bhutanam. They say, a friend in a need is a friend in a deed, that we could see in Krishna. I'll give an example. You may think, parents, children will always help us or protect us, but that's not always possible because only Krishna is always present, both in joy and sorrow, birth after birth. Because in every situation, why people may not understand this immediately? Because this verse, what I'm talking to you, Bhoktaram Ekna Tapasam, Sarva Loka Maheshwaram, Suhurtam Sarva Bhutanam, Nyatamam Shanti Rachyate. This verse is just an introduction. If you fully understand how Krishna is the enjoyer, controller, and the friend, for that we have to hear from chapter 7 to 12. Because in Bhagavad Gita, we have 3 divisions. Like I told you, we have 18 steps, a divine ladder towards reaching the topmost. So we have Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Jnana Yoga. So once we enter into 7th chapter to 12, then we'll have a better understanding about this. So in those chapters, Krishna directly reveals his divine nature, energies, and relation with all beings. So without this foundation, it is very hard to convince someone immediately. It's even difficult to digest. So my only humble request is that be patient and regularly attend this class because Shravanam is very important. As I told you in my last previous class, Krishna comes through our ears, and Maya enters through our eyes. If you want Krishna to enter through your ears, we have to have a strong, good Shravanam, rapt attention. Not that, body is present, mind is absent. So I'm requesting you, all of you, bring your mind back to the class. Body is there, but mind is absent. Bring it back. Then it will be easy for us to understand. So not taking much time, I will just do a small kind of a recap. We discussed that Krishna answers doing your duties with the devotion. Karma yoga is better than just renouncing the world. I'll go to Himalayas. No. You should do things with a devotion, right? Krishna is explaining that devotional service helps us to give up the bad habits and a selfish desire. While just giving up things without devotion, it's very difficult. I gave example of the gulab jamun. I gave example of the Janmashtami also, right? That's very difficult. That's why Krishna says, don't just give up things. Connect everything to me. Then letting go becomes joyful, not painful. Now it's a painful. Oh, tomorrow Ekadashi. Oh, I have to fast. Okay, I have to control my senses. Oh, today we have a very wonderful serial. I don't want to watch because Prabhuji told the mind is craving, but you get something higher taste. it's very easily you can drop it. That's why, even stopping such kind of things becomes joyful, not painful. And then we also discussed a very important aspect about like a lotus leaf, staying untouched by the world while being in the world, while doing in the work. Like Krishna explains that we should all perform our duties without attachment to the will. Just like a lotus leaf in the water, it's not touched by it. We can say a person working for Krishna without selfish desire is not at all affected by sinful reactions. That's why we explained about the four important aspects. There was senses, mind, intelligence, and the soul. And I see all of you gave a very good answer. If I say what is important, I or gold, you said I. I said car or your lungs. So we know that senses are very important, but above senses, it is mind, because mind is higher than the senses. And above mind is intelligence. You all just answered, that the person who was next to the driver was Atma, passenger. We discussed that, and intelligence is higher than the mind. And then, of course, we spoke about who's higher than to all these three senses, mind, intelligence. It is the Atma, right? So we gave that wonderful example of the, person trying to, drive the chariot. The chariot has 5 horses. It's compared to our 5 senses: eyes, nose, ear, mouth, and skin, right? And the person who's sitting and driving, the driver is an intelligence, and that he is holding the rope, right? The rope that is called our mind. So if it doesn't have a control over the mind, the horses will go haywire. Because of that, there will be an accident. So that's why he has to have a control over the mind, intelligence. Then everything will be peaceful. Okay. And then we also discuss about the 3 doers. Remember, I told you about that ice cream. The boy wanted ice cream. Father said, no, 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 no. He never told the driver. So driver never listened. He was just driving. But father told, stop it. He got it. Jivatma. Then Prakriti is a driver. And then we spoke about the owner of the car, who's Paramatma. I think it's very clear, right? So we spoke about Jivatma, Paramatma, and the Prakriti. Then we also spoke about the wise person. He sees everyone equally. That's what we say, Pandita, Sama, Darshina. And finally, we hit the last slide of today's session. That was a peace formula. So Lord Krishna gives a solution by which we all can become happy. That is Bhoktaram Ignatapasam. Just know the 3 facts, you become very peace. That's called peace formula. What is that? Lord is the enjoyer. Lord is a proprietor, owner, a Malik, You say Jagannath, Jagat Kannath, Jagannath. So he is the real owner, proprietor, And then we said about Lord is also a well-wisher, a true friend, He always see what is best for you. So in this state, if we understand these 3 concepts, then it's very easy for us to be happy. So tomorrow, we will be discussing about a very important chapter titled as Dhyana Yoga. Okay. So we all know that meditation is very, very popular word these days. Not in just Eastern world, but also in the Western world. So in the Western world, there are so many, yoga studios, meditation centers. There actually, meditation is seen as a de-stressing agent. I would say it's de-stressing the mind and detoxifying the consciousness. So as a monk, I myself do that meditation every day in the morning, So the process of meditation is called the mantra meditation. Mantra means what? Man means mind. Tra means that delivers the mind, freezes the mind. So this part we'll discuss. And finally, we'll be heading tomorrow, chapter 6. And that is a very important topic, Dhyana Yoga. So silence the mind, awakens the soul. Discover the secret of true meditation in chapter 6. So the call of action is join tomorrow and step into the most peaceful chapter of Gita, where Krishna teaches how to meditate, live mindfully, and rise above stress. Now, why am I telling you this? Because we all want inner peace from this noisy world. So Krishna is revealing how we should not miss this Dhyana Yoga. It's a very important chapter. That's why from restless to peaceful. Meditation is not an escape, okay? It's a real power, So if you join this chapter on Dhyana Yoga, it becomes very easier for you to understand that how Krishna is teaching us how to make your mind your best friend. Because we are all tired of stress and distractions, right? You all agree with me, right? So let Krishna teach us what is the art of meditation. So I humbly request that don't miss tomorrow's chapter, that is Jnana Yoga. So now I'll stop sharing. We'll have some quick question answer so that it can awaken our thoughts. Okay. Yes, we have Shriya Sahi. She wanted a question. So I'm going to unmute her. Yes, you're unmuted. You can please ask question.
Yeah, Radha Radha Prabhuji.
Your voice is little
Actually,
feeble. Can you just increase your volume?
can you hear me?
Fantastic. Yes, I can hear you.
Radha Radha Prabhuji. Actually, I wanted to know, like, as you said, that the nature gives us the soul, whatever the soul want, the nature provide according if the God gives the permission. But
Mhm.
then I want to know that whatever happen, like you said, that there are also free will that cannot be stopped by God. But then what happened just now, like the Pahalgam thing, and everywhere the terrorists are killing. If God can control everything, then why is the bad things happening? Like the people over there, why are the innocent people? Why are they being killed? Because it's not their free will to be killed, right?
Yes, yes, that's a very valid question. So I think for this one, yesterday also somebody asked the same question, and we answered them saying that this will be elaborately it will be explained from chapter 7 to chapter 12. But however, I'll explain what is the real agenda in this. So it's very important to understand that out of 84 lakh species we're getting this human life, and this human life is like a loophole, and we get this human life after our past karma, right? So let's say somebody has a strong addiction for sleeping, whenever he wants to do some bhakti, it's tough for him. That means in previous life we may that vasanas are still carrying him. All right. But devotional service is one kind of activity. It's like akarma, niskama karma yoga. It can remove all your sins. Right. Now you may say these were all very innocent people. They went to Palgam just for a visit, but suddenly such thing happens. Why is not God, stopping such things? Correct. Now, if you see from a scriptural point of view, God has a reason for everything. Because if you read scriptures, there's one verse it's coming. It says, Kalirdoshe niderajan asti heko mahan gunan kirtaneva krishnasya mukta sangha param rajas. It means that in Kali Yuga, the age is degrading, like before people were very pious. But now, let's say if Shriya has some money in your pocket, I say, how are you? If you have no money, I say, who are you? This is what is happening now. Tit for tat. Tit for tat. So the answer for your question, I would very easily explain that I would not say it's because of karma. I would say that everybody has a destination. Like everybody have their expiry date. And one more thing, it's actually these are very sensitive questions. So in the yesterday also I think I explained the same thing. So if we can just wait till chapter 7. Today is we're just fifth. So once we go to chapter 7, 7 to 12, this is like Bhakti Yoga. So there we can elaborately explain. And I think somebody asked this question morning also. So I gave them my own example. Just couple of years back, and I was traveling to Mayapur, and I told the driver that it's late night. Please do not drive. If you want, you can stay. We can drop the car. You can stop the car. Morning, you can drive. He said okay. But when he saw that I went to sleep, he took a call. He started driving, and then what happened? He first of all not accepted my advice, and then he wanted to whimsically drive. then he actually hit a lorry, and then because I was behind the seat and I got injured and my leg got fractured, So now, even in the devotee situation, see the difference between non-devotee. Non-devotee will surely ask why such things happening to me. But if somebody who's practicing Krishna consciousness, what he would say that there's a very beautiful sloka, Tattanukampa Tukshmamanam Bunjayad. That means that Lord sometimes to make a person very close to him, he gives such kind of not kind of a punishment, such kind of a situation where his faith, his Shraddha becomes more closer. Now you see, after this attack, what is currently happening? We have that Operation Sindoor, right? Now even Pakistans are very fearful to play around Indians because they know that that our India has such a powerful weapons like Brahma Sutra, Brahma, whatever, I forgot the name, So now they are very fearful. So for everything, there is a reason and cause. So if you see from a devotee's point of a circle, you'd always say that something should happen bad, but now I'm still okay. The same thing, something worse should have happened to us, but by the mercy of the God, because Bharat is called Bharat Bhumi, right? This is a land of all devtas. That is why we've been protected. That's why today we are peacefully we are having a conversation, but people in their armies, they have sacrificed for us. That's why I was explaining yesterday that there's one point I shared. I was telling you that, when the government approves a person and if he does an attack to the terrorist, it will be rewarded. But if government doesn't approve and we whimsically want to do whatever we thought, we are thinking, then it becomes a punishment. So that means, we should first of all understand that our steadiness in our mind and control, if that is possible, and this all comes through practicing Bhakti Yoga. Now, for your question, since it's a very sensitive question, I would request you that if you just stay for next couple of days, your questions will be answered because we have such a slide that why bad things happen to the good people. Right? So I'll answer that. Okay, if we have any more
Okay,
else,
Prabhuji.
but stay connected. Okay, we'll answer all your questions. Somebody asked me, is Bhagavad Gita a mythology? Or somebody asked me that does the body get a sin or a soul gets a sin? So I answered them. So all your questions will be answered. It's just that we have to be in a proper systematic, so that you will have that hunger. All right. Okay, we have another question by Krishna Priya. I'll just unmute her. Okay, you
Hare
are
Krishna.
unmuted. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Related to this question, if somebody came to devotion path and whatever the past it that person has done, we don't know. But after surrendering to Krishna and doing the Bhakti Yoga, all the reactions will nullify it. I mean to say, I have seen many devotees are suffering also, physically, mentally, so many disease also, uh, death also nearby, young children. So how can we see that in that way?
Awesome. So, if you remember, I just shared that point during the class, that sometimes why such thing happens even in the case of devotee's life also. So the same thing, that one thing is that nobody can escape birth, death, old age, disease. Everybody has to undergo this cycle. It can be a devotee, it can be a non-devotee. But the only difference is that devotee, they don't identify themselves as a body. Because if they identify themselves as a body, then they're not devotees, they're non-devotees, and they'll suffer a lot. But we know, we discussed this also, that soul, Nainam Chinandi Pavaka, Nainam Pavaka, matlab, this soul cannot be cut into pieces, it can't be burnt, it has no birth, death, old age, it is eternal. Right? So to get that knowledge, because right now what happens, that suffering is like a suffering. But if you see in the case of, there are many great sannyasis, even great devotees, even they are also have some kind of challenges in their life, but still they have not stopped. They are like double the force of their preaching activities. Now, what do we learn from their example? From their example, it's setting a role model for us that, even in this situation, I can do this. So Krishna always has the best for the devotees. But it is not the same with the people who are not practicing Bhakti Yoga. I'll just give you one example because these questions I'll be answering in the next, from 7th chapter, because tomorrow we're reading 6th chapter, Dhyana Yoga. From 7th chapter, I'll be answering them. But still, I want to give you one information for you. What is that? Have you know that if the soul is coming out of the body, that person will realize the pain of a bite of a scorpio, not one scorpio, 40,000 scorpios bite a person experience. Just imagine what will be the pain. Just by thinking now, you start vibrating, right? But in the case of a devotee, it's not like that. So all these things we'll discuss. That is why we've been telling you that Bhakti Yoga is a topmost yoga. Why? Because in Bhakti Yoga, you are yourself giving to the Lord without any selfish motive. Whatever you're cooking, you're first offering to the God, then giving it to Krishna. See, there are many people who have nothing with them. Because they have control over the mind and senses, they're still happy. But there are people who are doing all big, big things. But if they have little uneasy with their mind and control, then they become very upset. It's like a fish out of the water. So that also we discussed. So if we just stay back for another one chapter, that is 6th chapter, from 7th chapter onwards, we'll directly hit on these questions that why even devotees also have the same problem, So we could see, oh, look at this devotee, he can't even walk, and look at, he got some paralysis, why Lord is doing like that, So you may have these questions. So just stay connected for just one more session, because from 7th chapter we will be discussing about this, So this will be an eye-opening to all of you. Okay? Thank you for bringing up the question, Krishna Priya. So anybody else have this question? Okay. Somebody if, want to place question chat, also you can do that. Okay, I said there's no question. So once again, I thank you for all of you for joining us. So please stay connected for tomorrow. And as I requested that please come 10 minutes earlier so that we all can chant one round of Maha Mantra and then we can embark on this chapter. Okay? Thank you once again. Take care.